Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again and we're back with a bonus video this week. We're going back to September 2022 now, when Dominaria United released, and one of the cards I covered back then is today's card basically. It was Rivaz of the Claw. One black and red for a 3/3 Vishano Warlock, has Menace, and add 2 mana of any colour but only spend in any combination of colours, spend this mana only to cast dragon creature spells. Rivaz lets us cast dragon spells from our graveyard, but they come in with a finality counter on them for all intents and purposes. So, you know, it's pretty good. But this is like 2.5 years ago. We're, 4 months off it being 3 years ago as I record this video. So, with the release of Tarkir Dragonstorm, it was time to have a look at an updated version of Rivaz. So, that's what we're doing today. So, here we go. This is what my updated version of Rivaz looks like. Now, I am going to say before we go any further, we know this deck's got red in it, so you know at least 4 of the cards that are going to be turning up here. The first one of which is Sarkhan, the Fireblood, to help us add that mana to cast our dragon spells. And, you know, discard and draw is always fun, a bit of rummaging. Then we go into Creature Land, the first one of which is Minion of the Mighty from Forgotten Realms. When it attacks, if you attack with creatures total power 6 or greater, put a dragon card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So, you know, it's a 0/1 with Menace, so it may get blocked eventually, but maybe the first time you attack with it and you've got more than 6 power on the table, you'll get the free dragon. The cards I was talking about, we've got Dragon Lord's Servant in to cut the cost down, the Dragon Speaking Shaman, and the Nogi Drago Zealot from the new set as well. Yeah, we've seen them all before. I'm not going to talk about them again. I've also put in Sarkhan Dragon Ascendant, just because the treasure tokens do help with this, and we can hopefully do the whole beholding bit when we cast Sarkhan quite easily. I've also had a bit of fun. We've gone with Vile Smash of the Fierce, just to provide that extra little bit of random damage to a player or planeswalker. It does help a little bit in this deck, believe it or not, because sometimes you do have a hard time getting through. And then it's on to the new dragons that have hit the deck. The first one of which, Decadent Dragon, nick someone's cards and have a 4/4 flying trample that when it attacks we get a treasure token. Parapet Thrasher comes in as well. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to your opponent, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So if you get in with 3 of your dragons, you're going to get, well, this dragon plus 2 others, I should say. You get to blow up an artifact, deal 4 damage to each other opponent, and then exile the top card of your library, which you may then play this turn if you want to. Roaming Thrones in as well. We've got a few dragons that comes into play effects or have triggered abilities. It's worth having this in here, I think, in this deck to help us out with those extra triggering abilities. Scavenging Region also comes in from the new Tarkir Dragonstorm set. It gives us another way of basically wiping the board out, apart from our dragons, with the Exude Toxin ability. And a 4 mana 4/4 with flying and ward where they have to discard a card isn't to be sneezed at all, especially as it costs 3 and a black. Thunderbreak Regent makes an appearance as well. Whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, this creature deals 3 damage to that player. So helps keep, makes removing your dragons from spot removal a little bit harder. Thundermane Dragon also comes in from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Look at the top card of our library editor. Creatures with power 4 or greater we can cast at any time and they get haste. Well, you can't cast them at any time. You can look at the top of your library at any time, but you can cast the spells from the top of your library and give them haste that way. So, yeah. Boltwing Marauder still makes the cut. I just like this. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +2/+0 to the end of the turn, so you can pump your dragons up quite happily. Bone Hoarder wasn't around when I did Rivaz originally, but it's here today. I still love the fact you get a Dino token or a treasure token, depending what happens when you exile the top 2 cards of your library at the start of the turn. Calderon Primor is also in. We've got a few instant sorceries in the deck, so we might as well have this here to deal that extra bit of damage as we cast them. Another card that wasn't around when I did the original Rivaz deck, the Dragonhawk Fate's Tempest is also in. Yep, fine. Exiling cards or just doing global damage is always good fun. Ganax is also back in. We did have this in the original one, if I remember correctly. The treasure tokens are just here, as you can imagine. Goldlush Triad wasn't here, though. That definitely came in with Dragonstorm Tarkir. Myriad, 4/3, 5 mana. When it attacks, get a copy of the Goldlush Triad attacking each other opponent you've got, and when they deal combat damage, you get a treasure. Colligan, the Storm's Fury. Dragons, whenever a dragon that you control attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 until the end of turn. It's still very good in this deck. We will be attacking a lot of the time with the dragons, so we must want to have it here. And I'm going to be honest, Obash is in here, the Prey Piercer. We have quite a few things that have got odd mana values, so this does help deal the double damage. I did look at having Rivaz and Obash as the companion in the command zone as well, but it just turned out to be too complicated because a lot of the dragons I wanted to play were even mana costs, and I couldn't really make it work with all the odd ones. But I've included Obash just to help us do that extra damage with all our non-even mana valued cards. Like, Scourge of Alcus is a good one. And so is Terror of the Twin Peaks. Yeah. And then Tyrant of the Flames helps us double up on the damage. Yeah, okay. Can kind of see why I thought about having Obash as a companion. From there, the Wrathful Red Dragon just does even more damage when damage is dealt to our dragons. Then we've got the Ancient Copper Dragon to come in and get us the treasure tokens when it connects. Inferno of Star Mounts for the flying, haste, and can't be countered side. Kukushiko's here. You all know what it does, along with Lathis. Scourge of the Throne for the dethrone trick and the additional attack step if we're lucky. Storm Scale Sinian also makes an appearance from Dragonstorm Tarkir. I have stormed off a couple of times with this and got an extra couple of coffees, which has basically won me the game there and then. One of the odd ones is Blade Wing Deathless Tyrant. This is nice. It just gives you a whole load of blockers on the ground if you can connect, because the chances are you have got creatures in the graveyard by the time you cast this. So getting some zombie knights isn't the worst plan in the world. Blade Wing the Risen also makes an appearance. We like having this in play. When our dragons get killed off, we can just hold on to this, play it, and get one of them back. And to finalise the dragons, we've got Blast Furnace, Hellkite. With the artifact offering, you may cast this spell so it had flash by sacrificing an artifact and paying the difference in the mana costs. Flying and double strike, and the creatures you attacking your opponents have double strike. Now notice this is global. So everyone who attacks everyone else and doesn't attack you, their creatures gain double strike. So bear that in mind. You can help people out with this card sometimes. Sorceries, yeah. Jessica's Will in the Game Changer, Chain Reaction, Damnation, Crux of Fate, Kindred Dominance, because I do like this as a wrath effect, especially when we choose dragons, and Blasphemous Act. They're all in to help us control the board, basically. 3 instants, Go Through Throat, Terminate, and Sarkhan's Triumph is here because I do want to find a dragon every so often, and this is a nice, easy search way of doing it, which doesn't put the Game Changer count up at all because it's not on the list yet. Artifacts, we've got quite a few to help us ramp. Lotus Bloom, Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, then we've got the Elixir to shuffle everything back in as we do. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Jet Medallion, Mind Stone. The Orb of Dragonkind also comes in. Yes, it costs us a mana to get to, but it's worth it at the end of the day to help us ramp that a little bit more. Pillar of Origins just is another cheap way of doing it. We do choose dragons with this, and we hope we can ramp into them quite quickly to use this mana up. Ruby Medallions here, the Talisman of Indulgence to give us a bit more colour thing. Thought Vessel, Dragonstorm Globe comes in from Tarkir. If you haven't seen this card yet, I would imagine if you've watched any draft video on any of the YouTube channels where drafting is popular, you will have seen everybody drafting this card at some stage to do the dragon deck. We've got Herald's Horns in as well to cut the cost down a little bit more, along with Urza's Incubator. Just be careful again with Urza's Incubator. It is global, so if anyone else is playing a dragon deck, you might be in trouble if you pick dragons, but bear it in mind. From there, the enchantments. Corroding Dragonstorm to make sure everyone can lose 2 and we gain 2, and then we get to Surveil 2, and because of the amount of dragons we have coming to play, we'll probably be bouncing this in and out quite a bit. Dragon Tempest just does the whole hasty bit and then the damage when dragons come in. Rising of the Day helps us out if we can't find the Dragon Tempest to make sure we can give everything haste. And then all of our legendary creatures, which does happen, yeah, get an extra little bit of damage going in. So +1, I'm happy with that. I have gone back on something. I am playing Sarkhan's Unsealing in this deck. I'm still on the verge of not playing this, but I think in this deck, because of what we're trying to do, it does kind of help out. Doing the 4 damage kind of helps quite a lot, and then if we get a creature spell with 7 power or more, getting 4 damage to each opponent and each creature and each planeswalker they control really does kind of do a mini Wrath every so often. And finally, just so we can do some fun, Breaching Dragonstorm is also here. You'll be able to cast anything you hit in this deck because there is nothing over 8. So bear that in mind now. From there, it's just the usual selection of lands you expect any red-black deck going on. The Archers in just gives a little bit of card draw. We've got the Cliffs, the Verge, Blood Crypts, Bloodfell Caves, Bloodstained Mire. Once it catches up with me moving my mouse down. There we go. Bonder's Enclave, it's also in for more card draw. Command Tower, you know the score. The other game changer I have got on the deck is Field of the Dead. It is kind of necessary. You do need to get some blockers out, and having Field of the Dead just trigger when you play a land to give you that zombie block, it can save your soul sometimes. I will point out that I am unusually playing Inventor's Fair because of the number of artifacts in the deck. I mean, you know, we have got 16 in there, so hopefully we'll be able to have 3 in play and just gain a little bit of life back every so often. Mirko is in to draw some more cards. Nykthos. Now, I've broken my cardinal rule here. Nykthos I usually swear by in any mono-coloured deck you see me play. You're all aware of this, I've said it many a time on a video now. But when I actually looked through the cards in this deck, although we have got some black, most of them, outside of the artifacts obviously, and sorceries, are red. We have a lot of red mana symbols kicking around, so our devotion to red is always going to be fairly good. So I figured it's worth running one as a one-off in here because of that. So yeah, okay. Everything else is what you'd expect to be. Reliquary Towers here, Temple of the False Gods here, 4 Swamps, 5 Mountains, because we, like I say, we are playing more red. But I have chucked in Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth to help out, along with the Unclaimed Territory, and the other one does it, Secluded Courtyard. So it gives us the colour we need to cast our dragons. And that's it. That is my update for Rivaz. I will be playing out on stream. There's been, by the time you've watched this video, there's been a stream on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night this week. So, hey, this will be played on Sunday when I'm streaming on Sunday because, you know, I always play the decks after they've been released on the YouTube channel. So if you want to see me play it this Sunday, there's a link down below to Twitch. Come and give me a follow over there. Thank you to Verma TWR1, Sparty681 and Paint Cans, who all came and joined me on Twitch the other night when we were streaming, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, please hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think I've missed out. I will respond to them. I do read all the comments. I do respond to them as soon as I see them appear on the YouTube Studio app. But I'd love it if you could subscribe. That'd be really kind of you. So thank you in advance. That's it for now. I'll be back next week. And yeah, might be time to start looking at Final Fantasy next week. So until next week, have a good one. Take care. Bye.